Hello and welcome to Music Education for Young Children. Hi, my name is Rino Terracciano. I'd like to talk a little bit today about an article I found in the journal titled YC Young Children. This article is titled Twinkle, Twinkle, Using Music with Infants and Toddlers. Okay, let's just start right over here where it says the music and early development. We know that there are multiple domains that music can impact during the earliest stages of child development, such as physical development. The article talks about cognitive development, how children are able to metacognitively start to use their uh, their intellectual ability to process information. Um, let's read a little bit what it says here. Like all the best learning experiences in early childhood, music activities stimulate simultaneously promote promote development in multiple domains. And I strongly believe that this is accurate, and not just by reading this, by observing these students and working with students in the classroom for many years. One of the areas that I strongly believe is that um, this has to be on the front burner, really getting children socially, emotionally uh, strong, let's say, or competent as much as possible. And I think that music, it says here, because it's so often shared with others in singing, dancing, and playing an instrument together, is by its very nature, is a social experience. Whether it's in an orchestra or in a classroom or in a family home setting, music is a social experience. And that's what makes it so important and so powerful, let me say. But it also gets into the fact that, as we interact with young children, right, care for young children, right, we're building their ability to start to self-regulate, to soothe themselves prior to going to bed, to self-regulate in a way that says, if I can just find a way to say I am hungry, then then I can stop crying. And so I think that music itself is a great facilitator, tool, vehicle in promoting social and emotional skills so that children can self-regulate. In the area of physical development, whether it's the fine motor coordination skills or gross motor coordination skills, using music is a wonderful way for children to start to learn how to use their fingers as pinchers, to take beats from one area to another area, or string beats together. Whilst young children are playing a simple instrument, well, not a piano. Piano is not a simple instrument, or a violin, but and how do you do that during infants and during a toddler years? You really don't do those kind of activities, but you do nurture the children during the early stages of development. A great book by Shinichi Suzuki, Nurtured by Love, might be something that you all may want to look into. And it really tells you that, children can acquire the ability to play music beautifully and to be noble and peaceful individuals in this world. What as I read this little area, it tells you some of the resources we can use with toddlers. Scarves, how we hold a scarf, how we drop the scarf, how we wave the scarf. And that's great manipulate, great material to use. Or bubbles, just playing with bubbles with music in the background is another good idea. In regards to the finger play, the song where it's Thumbkin, it's just something that children can really start to understand their body awareness. And also, all of this, all of these ideas here do foster later on the development of writing skills. I would say bubbles might foster the ability to see things and be able to eye-hand coordination, where Thumbkin fosters the ability to start to later on engage in writing skills, in writing, let's say. I kind of really like this area, and I'm going to have to stop the video here to go and show you what I was thinking when I read this. I'll be right back. So as I read this part of this article here, right? It says balance. In moving one's body to music, children can stand while swaying or shifting their weight from one foot to the other. So we're looking at gross motor coordination skills here, in which I think it's facilitating the development of the vestibular system, which enables children to start to fully understand spatial awareness, that sort of concept, let's say, which means they can balance. Imagine that "Let's Do the Twist" fills the room. Young children try to copy their family child care provider's movement, twisting and shaking to the best while attempting to stay balanced and not fall over. And so I think that's really good. I was thinking about one of the songs by Greg and Steve, which is, there's your fun songs, but there's a song by Greg and Steve on the second album here, "We Live Together," second album, and it's titled "Listen and Move." Let's listen to a little bit of that.
Walk.
And so you're hearing this, the child is hearing this, and the next thing the recording will say is gallop, or walk on your tippy toes, or walk backwards. And you can come up with all of these yourself. You don't need to purchase the CD. You don't need to listen. Well, you can YouTube this song but you can come up with these ideas yourself to teach children, to facilitate balance, to facilitate movement that is so vitally important during the early stages of child development. Okay, so thinking and promoting cognitive skills, I kind of really like the song "1, 2, Buckle My Shoe," and I believe that, this right here is a way that we can get children to start to process numeracy skills, let's say. Now, in the area of phonemic awareness, I put together a presentation months ago for what I was working on, and I'd like to share with you. So what are some of the activities that one can use to work with phonemes, right? Phonemic awareness, right? So this article, let's go back to the article just for a second. Phonemic awareness describes how well a child can hear, recognize, and use different sounds called phonemes, right? So if the child hears the word D-O-G, dog, how are they able to dissect the G? How? So they're able to dissect each letter, each phoneme, and dissect, segment, and maybe even blending these letters, right? And so phonemic awareness is something super important. And I think that from what we see here is, for example, the word cat, there are 3 different phonemes, cat. And children who are able to distinguish different sounds and phonemes are more likely to develop stronger literacy over time. So, the whole point of music is to facilitate not only our ability to communicate, express ourselves, but our ability to listen. Receptive language development is so vitally important. And so if music is able to do that and foster or facilitate phonemic awareness, then we've really struck a home run here. Having students emerge in rhythms, for example, 1, 2, buckle my shoe, could lead students to engage in activities that promote phonemic awareness. And I was just telling you guys about the rhyme for 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Having students engage in singing simple songs is also another activity that can promote phonemic awareness. According to our article, this was an article I read. When students socially work with peers, they naturally build language and literacy skills that lead to reading. So music is a way of bringing kids together, bringing people together, bringing communities together. And it's just, hopefully it's a joyful occasion where now we're starting to get into the hidden factors of this experience, what this experience does. All right, so I think that this is a pretty good area too. I like this area because we're still talking about language development. And what I like about this article is that so many times, it's not easy to work with an infant or a toddler for the sole purpose to teach them specific skills. It's much harder. As we get older, we're able to communicate differently and we're able to listen differently and interact differently. But as a very, very young child who's 3 days old, now what do we do? And so that's why I like this area. Simple songs to babies. Sing simple songs to babies, including some with corresponding hand gestures. And I think these hand gestures are great. We shouldn't solely expect students to understand what we're saying through our hand gestures, but hand gestures, visuals, verbal interaction, and the way we hold a child, that is the key to learning and teaching babies. Well, that's an idea anyhow. Babies can control their hands and fingers earlier, beginning around 9 months, than they can sing or speak, usually beginning around 10 to 12 months. And I think children are able to speak from day one when they smile at us, when they cry to us, when they babble. And so the article is very accurate, but at the same time, we have to start to understand that when a child cries, hey, what do I need to do? And so that's a form of communication. All right, so I think I'm just about done by saying using music with young children is absolutely priceless to the development of the whole child, especially if we really want them to be lifelong learners and engage in maybe academic activities later on. Music is not just for musical purposes. It has so many benefits to it. I'll bring you back to this title of this article, Beyond Twinkle, Twinkle, Using Music with Infants and Toddlers. And these are the authors right here, Rebecca Park-Lenkin with Claire Lerner. Okay, well, let me go back to this site where I started. And it was this site right over here. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can always search for me at mefyc.com. Once you come in here, you go to contact. And if you have any questions about what I just discussed, please feel free to send me an email. Love to hear from you. Thank you so much for your time today.